Everyone get one? Well, thank you. I hope I can keep you engaged for at least an hour. I have about an hour worth of content here, so we can go as short or as long as you guys would like. Depends how much you guys want to talk about it and hear about it. So, the key is to do it without pissing someone off. Do you think we can have hard conversations with pissing people off? How do we do that? Defensive mode, personal, go in their office. Why aren't you doing your shit? I am doing my stuff, whatever. And so instantly. Oh, for sure. Being emotional about it. Yeah. So my background, I've been in construction for 12 years, primarily project management, spent a few years in HR. And where this all started for me, all this communication stuff, is I was working in an HR role and we had a foreman, I'm going to call Fred, that did great work. Like we were a subcontractor, so the general contractor really liked him. He always hit his budget. He always hit his schedule. Our management really liked him, but there was one group of people that didn't like him. Can you guess who it was? His employees. Yeah. So I was the new guy in HR, and the apprentices were calling me, and they said, "Hey, Andy, I don't like working for Fred. I want to go on a new job. He just micromanages. He's kind of, their words, he's kind of a douche, just kind of a jackass, doesn't treat us very well, super micromanage, he yells at us." And my first instinct was actually, shut up. Like, you're an apprentice, just go back to work. But it was like a pattern, like apprentices kept calling. So I was visiting with somebody else in management. I'm like, hey, should we maybe try maybe visiting with Fred? Kind of awkward. And yeah, let's bring him in. So we bring Fred into the office. And I remember we're sitting at a conference room, and it's me, this other leader, and then Fred. We don't really know how to tell him. We're like, yeah, so you do great work, but like the guys kind of hate working for you. Like, they do not like you. They're asking to go on different jobs. And he sat there real quiet, and he looked at one of the other manager, and he said, "How long have you guys known about this?" Don't worry about it. I don't know. While, long time. And I remember I was looking down because I was uncomfortable. But I looked up, and he was looking at me, and he started crying. And he said, "Why didn't you guys tell me this?" Awkward? What do you mean? Awkward conversation. And so I remember thinking in that moment, like, it didn't benefit him, it didn't benefit the apprentices or the journeyman on site, it didn't benefit the GC, it benefited nobody except for one person. Who was that one person? Yeah, us or me. I don't have to have that hard conversation. And so that's where all of this stuff very, very first started, is we have people that come up through the trades, oftentimes through an apprenticeship of some sort. They get promoted to, or if they pass their test, or if they spend enough time as journeyman, project manager, just whatever the typical rank is. And oftentimes they don't get any training on how to talk to people. And this could be anything from negotiating a back charge or something. Like, if let's say there's roofing damage. General contractor's dealing with some roofing damage, and somebody's got to pay for it. Either the owner, the GC, or the subs. Right? Did I miss anyone? Is there someone else that could pay for it? Engineer? Maybe? No, probably not. Yeah. And so, I've been in so many meetings where, a lot of times I was on the subcontractor side, but we're going back and forth with the general contractor, and they say, "We're going to send you a back charge," and we would say, "Well, we're going to send you a change order then." And it just turns into this round robin of fighting, and you get to the end of the job, we're screwed because we're waiting on our any retention that we had. We want paid. General contractor's holding out. We're mad at each other. And now our sales team is trying to bid the next project with them. And our whole relationship's just and it all comes back to, as a project manager, We didn't know how to like solve this roofing issue without making it personal. Like if you think about it, as a, what's your name again? David. If me and David are working together, I'm the sub and he's the GC. I'm just a guy trying to get my job done, and so are you. But what will happen is that I start to or become to like hate this guy. You just have people that you work with that you start to hate. Working for like owners, reps, commissioning agents. I don't know who you guys all work with. Inspectors. If it gets to that point, it doesn't do us any good. So you have on the front page of this is dialogue before damage. When communication breaks down, why do we avoid it so quickly, do you think? Why do we avoid hard conversations? Yeah. Okay, awkward and don't know what to say. What else? Okay, scared to be wrong. Don't want to offend somebody. Yep, don't want to break the relationship. Yeah, totally. So from your guys' worlds, what are common difficult conversations that get avoided? Yeah. Yep. Is that as an employee or the company's costing you money? Like one of your, or either? That's what Yep. Totally. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's fighting over scope, basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Trying to push the narrative, like, hey, we need this by the state or
Yep. Yeah. All comes down to money a lot of times. Yeah. For sure. That's what we're measured on. They always say it's safety, quality, and all that stuff. Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. So let's take either a site superintendent or a foreman. They may have guys working underneath them that suck, or they aren't doing a good job. They're being lazy, whatever. Why does that foreman not tell the guys to do better, even though it's costing the company money? Maybe the foreman's the problem. Yeah. Personal relationships. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a little bit awkward to take the blame in a way. Yeah. Yeah. What makes it awkward, do you think? Yeah. 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 Yep. Absolutely. What type of difficult conversations do you think either get avoided or blow up that might be internal to a company? Maybe not so much external within a construction company. What situations would get avoided that shouldn't be? Harassment?
feel like someone else isn't pulling their weight.
Mm-hmm. Yep. One guy's doing more work than the other. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. You what? Oh yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. There'll be all kinds of factors why we avoid it. So let's break it down on why a lot of times this happens. So damage, for dialogue before damage, there's this real simple framework here. On one end of the spectrum, we have silence, and on the other end is violence. So when communication starts to break down, this could be with your wife, or it could be with your kids, or it could be at work. It doesn't matter. Oftentimes we go to one end or the other. So silence is silent treatment. Or we shut down, we don't talk about it, we pretend it's not an issue. We're not going to do the confrontation. A lot of times we sit there for a long time, and then we swing to the other side, which is violence, which is going to be a lot more of like an attacking, sarcastic, condescending, name calling, you idiot, back talk. Yeah. Gossip behind the back, yeah. Yeah. Just an idiot. Yep. Well, the problem with both of these is if we stay in silence or in violence for too long, it leads to contempt. Contempt in a relationship. And contempt is the number one predictor that a relationship's going to end. So they did a study back in the 80s of 900 married couples in counseling, and they looked for one thing in these sessions, and it was contempt. And they could predict with a 93% accuracy if that couple was going to get divorced. And so when I'm working with my clients that are fighting, not getting along, can't communicate with each other, that's the first thing I look for. I got a phone call last week from a business owner, construction business owner. And he said, I've about had it with my leadership team. I can't trust them anymore. Do you think his leadership team's the problem? Or do you think he's the problem? Yeah, and most likely he is the problem. But what happens is when we get to contempt, you know what contempt is? What's contempt? Sort of, along the same lines. Yeah. Yep. When we view somebody with contempt, we view them as less than, or they're not worth anything.
Subhumans.
They're subhumans, exactly. Deserving of scorn. Exactly. It was a good guess. So the crux of what I teach all of my clients, I've had about 500 clients now in the past 4 years. I teach them one thing, and it's to get into this dialogue box and stay there. And all we're really doing is we're going to have a conversation to solve a problem without making anyone mad. And it could be anything from negotiating charges to getting somebody to work harder. A lot of times when I first get in front of groups, I'm introduced as like a communication guy. Oftentimes that gets pushback from people in construction. Why do you think that is? Why do construction folks get turned off by communication? Not as strong suit. Yeah. A lot of times it's just viewed as soft or fluffy or whatever. Soft skills, people skills, leadership skills. And it is kind of soft. There's no doubt about that. But if you can develop these skills, we can go to dialogue, we can avoid contempt, you can solve all kinds of problems. If you were to look in your companies now, if you look at areas or relationships where there's contempt, like maybe you have people in your company where two people hate each other, think about what is them two together, what's their ability to solve a problem? Probably pretty low. And so if they can't solve problems, they can't make the company money. So why? What's the point? Yeah, you just don't. Yeah, there's scenarios you don't put them together. Exactly. Yep. So, yeah. Any questions so far on that? Okay. Getting to the dialogue, I'm going to go over just a few brief tips you could say on what do you do to get to that dialogue box and stay in that dialogue box. Get in there is simply just a skill. If you feel like it's hard, it just means you don't have the skill. When you guys leave today, you're going to get in your pickup or your car and leave. Is that going to be hard to do? Be very easy because you have the skill, you're not going to think about it. Some of these soft skills, they feel difficult as we go through them. It's because you just don't have the skill, and that's okay. Just got to learn it. So, number one is using silence, specifically 3 to 7. The reason I put this as number one is because I think it's the most powerful one. I've sat with many teams now that have a lot of contempt, and if just one person can use this, what it will do is it will like entice somebody or pull somebody in to come to that dialogue box with them to actually solve the problem. The problem is, what do you think is challenging for people around this? Yep, to listen, not give an opinion. What else? What's that? Yep.
Answering the question for them, allowing
Mm-hmm. Yep.
stuff this is something I've heard recently, not only at work, but in personal relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, always trying. If it keeps on, if I just shut up, they'll actually say what I want them to say.
Totally.
Probably.
We got you. Silence is a lot of times uncomfortable. If you think about it, 3 to 7 seconds, like watch how long it takes. If you're sitting there staring at somebody, it can feel kind of awkward or uncomfortable. So to play this out a little bit to see what it feels like. What's your name? I don't know if we actually met. Jackson. You want to play along with me? Okay. So I'm going to get into a conversation with you. I'm going to purposely try to be a little more attacking. And what I want you to do is when I finish talking, you cannot respond until there's at least 3 seconds of silence. Okay? So I'm done talking. You just got to count in your head. 1, 2, 3. I'll show you what this sounds like. I don't even know what you do here. I'm not sure why you came to this group or like what role you play here. But you look pretty young, and I don't know if you contribute tons to this group. I mean, to be honest, I don't like really know you, and so I can't like say that for sure. But I mean, I don't know what your point is. And like, I think it's one of those things that if you like, you're probably a really nice guy. You're probably a really nice guy, but I just don't know you.
Why does my age matter?
Well, the thing is, I guess age doesn't matter. I suppose I'm not very old either, so I'm probably actually in the same boat as you, to be honest.
Why don't you just ask me more questions to try to understand?
I don't like asking questions, to be honest. I just wanted to tell you what I think. We can cut it off there. Thanks for playing. Just giving you a hard time. Yeah. No, yeah. I don't want to. So when we use silence, what's going to do? That's going to slow down the conversation, way, way down. And so if things are getting emotional, we got to use silence to slow it down, and you can actually get to a point where you can actually solve the problem. So, any questions there? Use silence. It takes practice. It could feel a little bit uncomfortable. You got to be really intentional for most of us to actually put that into practice. Little side note, all of these things we're talking about are not intended for day-to-day conversation. So if I walked up to you and said, "How was your food?" and you went, "How does it make you feel?" Huh? Yeah. Yeah. It's good. And so these skills are meant for when stakes are high and we're trying to solve a problem, things are getting emotional. So, okay, number 2 is we're going to ask more questions and give opinions. What do you think might be difficult about doing this? Mm-hmm.
Also, positive.
Mm-hmm.
All you know is we have 5,000. There's a large dollar amount of money risk right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we need to get to the bottom of it, but you just don't have it told by you. And
Mm-hmm. Yep.
behind it and make the conversation.
Yep. Absolutely. And so it's one of those things where, yeah, I agree with you, actually, is all I'm going to say. Totally agree. Silence.
I feel like if you're not thinking about your questions and taking the time to do it, you can ask.
Yep.
Or you bring up something that's already like over 1,000 times. Take it up.
Yeah. Yeah, if I were to ask you, should you go talk to the soup about that? My opinion in that question is you should go talk to the soup. So we got to try to keep questions way more open. So, okay, for this next one, do you want to play along with me? For this, I like to use more of a typical controversial debate. So, a good one usually is gun control. So pick a stance. You can choose. Do you want to be for or against gun control? And I'm going to play the opposite, whatever you pick. You're going to be against gun control. You'll be for it or against it?
Against.
Okay, I'll be for gun control. So, typically with these topics, people aren't going to change their mind. They're typically for the thing or against the thing. And the goal isn't to necessarily agree, but it's to understand each other. So, your two instructions are you have to use silence, and you cannot tell me your opinion. You can only ask me questions. Okay. I think all guns should be banned in America across the board.
Recreational hunters.
You didn't use silence. No, you're good though. This is why we do this. Let's try it again. I think guns should be banned all across America, point blank. I mean, really, what's the point? Why do we need them? I mean, come on. I mean, I think some people say, well, the hunting, people need to hunt.
Weapons safely, efficiently.
That's your opinion. So to kind of help you out here, what question could you ask me that would get me to keep talking, but you're not giving me your opinion? That's a good question. Yeah, I own 3 of them.
I wasn't asking you personally. How did you get it? How did you get to this?
Perfect. That'd be perfect right there. How do you get to that stance? My entire family got shot up, and so I have nobody left in my family. We can time it right there. We probably still won't agree on the policies, but maybe now you can understand why I came from. Yep. And so that's a political thing, right? So let's take that now and bring it back to work. If we were debating over back charges, both parties think they're right. Yeah? And so the idea is to try to understand, why does the other person think they're right? I think I shouldn't have to pay it, and you should. What's that?
One's always trying to get way too much money.
Which one?
Nobody tried to charge a bunch of extra because they're losing money.
That you can go either direction. Not always.
But do you know what?
A lot of factors they're not mostly
To warranted affair. Yeah. So what's interesting is if we practice these skills, and if the truth is that they're just being unfair, a lot of times that'll come out in the conversation. So if I were to start asking, okay, how did you come up with these numbers? And they have nothing to back it. They're like, oh, well, we used an approximate estimate. Approximate estimate, interesting. How did you come up with that? And all of a sudden they're going to walk themselves out into the open that we have no justification. And oftentimes what they'll do is they'll either, not always, sometimes they're just going to stand it like, sorry, I'm not telling you, you just have to pay it anyways, but they'll back themselves out of that corner.
So a lot of times that conversation will start because nobody wants to.
Yeah.
So that they'll force you into paper.
We do these things called email wars. Keyboard warriors, yep. Yeah, if stakes are high, I would always suggest if you can get in person. It's a lot harder to screw a person in front of you than it is a random over an email. Not always the case, but just generally. So, yeah.
Good to see like the response to the questions.
Yeah.
I want to always bring this back to this. We would have conversations, always a keyboard word back. When who's out in the PM's office, the owner's office, I sit down. Like, here's, I know you don't have all day to do this, but like, let's talk about it. By the end of that, you give me an honest,
Mhm.
it was like way better than
Yeah.
I'm wrong, they're wrong, this is, you own this, you should take care of this. No, give conversation. Kind of play out each other's thoughts. Where it's like, okay, all level.
Yeah.
All right, I see
Mhm.
I understand that better. Yeah,
Yeah.
having that in-depth conversation about you use human emotion, benefit, maybe even your detriment.
Yeah, I agree, and it goes back to his point too. Is you just have to be brave enough or willing to actually like have the conversation in the first place. So, totally. I've found too. There's a trend of a lot of people that are new in a role, new superintendent, new PE. They are nervous to go to the meeting or jump on the phone because they don't know what the person's going to say. But I think most people are understanding as long as you're willing to show up. I remember going to a meeting with our general contractor. We were doing a job down at the University of Portland, and I was a new project manager assistant. My PM and foreman didn't show up. They're like, Andy, you're going to this meeting, sub meeting. And it was probably my first or second meeting I'd ever been to. And so I'm sitting around the table with the other 15 trades or whatever. And the project manager for the GC for Skanska said, Andy, are you guys' fire dampers installed in building A? I'm like, what the hell's a fire damper? I have no idea. I didn't say that though. I just said, I don't know, but I can have an answer to you in like an hour. And he said, you bet. Like the PM knew I was like 18 years old. He probably knew I already didn't know. So what's the point of pretending? Like just say, I don't know, but I will figure it out very shortly for you. And it was one call to my PM or to my foreman actually. But okay, number 3, ask questions to learn why they think they're right. So, you guys here, are you guys with Sunbelt? Do you guys get phone calls about pricing of your equipment? Like people upset? I was gonna say, if you don't, I should promote you guys. That's awesome. Gotcha. Yep. Okay, let's play this one out. If you're willing, are you guys willing to play with me here? Okay, I'll be your client. I brought back a forklift or something, bent forks. Is that a common one? Okay. And so what I want you to do is use a lot of silence as much as you can. And essentially, you cannot argue with me. You can only ask questions. And we'll kind of play and see how the scenario plays out. So I call you. Hey, what the shit? I got this bill for $2,264 for bent forks. I don't know how much it costs. This is BS. I didn't bend anything. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to tell my boss I got to pay this. It's pathetic. We're going to start using Star Rentals. I don't know if you ever heard of them. That's what we used to use. They suck. That's why we want to use Sunbelt. I didn't think that we were going to get a charge like this. I didn't bend anything. So stupid. So stupid. I'm so mad. Ticks me off. I don't got any money in the job for this. We're lifting rooftop units. 11,241 pounds.
Do you guys have any pictures? Do you guys take pictures? Second one,
I don't know what the guys are doing.
I can look into it on my side. Just some pictures.
What's that?
Would it be okay if I sent you some pictures?
I mean, yeah, but that doesn't prove that I did. I don't think my guys would tell me if they bent the forks. And like to just blindly send us a bill with no heads up is just dumb. Just stupid.
There's got to be evidence. My, but if there's pictures of one, we can kind of look at pictures and see where we start.
Perfect. Yeah, we can time out. Good job. You did a really good job keeping the conversation slow. Lots of good questions. I like it.
On the flip side, we need to record where you can work for Sunbelt. I mean, more than I work for Sunbelt.
Yep.
I will. That's going to be back. I will go to Sunbelt. You guys take pictures of that work? You dropped it? No. Where's the proof? Like you can't just.
Yeah. Yep. So you're going to have the customers back. Yep. Yeah. Totally. No, I like how you did that. One piece of feedback I'd give you is you could leave a little bit more silence. At the beginning, you did awesome. Like I kept going, and as the conversation went on, you got a little bit quicker. And so just something to think about. It's not going to break the conversation. It's just a skill to be aware of. Sometimes the conversation can go slow and it'll speed up, and before you know, now it's escalated, and the person's upset. So you did a good job, though. Yeah. All right, number 4, getting back to dialogue, is repeat back what they said. This is one of my favorites because of how it's like a magic wand almost. All it is reflecting. So we can reflect back a few words that they said. So if somebody said, "You are the worst contractor in Oregon," we could just repeat back with the question mark, "The worst contractor in Oregon?" And they're either going to back off or they're going to double down on what they said. They're usually not going to respond with anything. And so if I were to come up to you and say, you guys aren't doing your job, you could reflect back to what? Perfect. Yep. And then I'm going to probably instantly respond to that. What kind of work do you do? Project engineering. Yep. So if I were to say, the RFI log is a freaking disaster. Yep, that's perfect. Just reflecting back what I say. They're either going to double down or they're going to come back. So don't play with me. Go through this. We can role play it.
I thought you said don't.
Don't play with me. Yeah. So what I want you to do is 3 seconds of silence. Ask me questions, and you can reflect back to me if it's appropriate. So, on that project that you're running, I don't know what you're doing out there, but nothing's going smooth. Well, for the job's going okay, but it just seems like when I'm trying to review all of these change orders, the change order logs from all of our subs, it's so confusing which ones we've have approved and haven't approved. So I don't know if that's you or your project manager or senior project. I don't know whose job that is, but it's a disaster. The one in Procore. I looked at the last 6 weeks. Well, it's just like a mess. It's not organized. We can't tell who is taking responsibility for each of these. I mean, we have our plumbers, electricians, the framers, they're all sending us these, and some of them are starting to hold up work. And so the super out there is chewing my butt. And so I just feel like you're not doing your job. Reflect back to me that. I said, I feel like you're not doing your job. So you can repeat it with a question mark. Well, I'm sure you're doing your job. I shouldn't say that you're not doing your job, but it just seems like distracted. You get the point, though, right?
Yeah.
Slow it down, reflect back, and ask open-ended questions that don't include your opinion at all. I've worked with, like I said, about 500 people on training them these skills. And the most difficult thing for people almost across the board is when you have an opinion that you care about. And so somebody's going to come to you and you're going to like strongly disagree. And it's going to like fight your intuition to actually follow these 4 little rules or these 4 little skills. Somebody comes at you attacking, somebody is just saying something completely stupid. It can be difficult to want to actually follow that. So, yeah, questions? Okay. Does anybody have, if you're willing to share, if you're not, that's okay too, a real difficult conversation that your company's dealing with? Even if it's like a previous one that's like old? No, we're like in a public setting, so.
What's interesting, happened yesterday. We had it's a suicide prevention month. And I'm sorry, it's all iron workers.
Mm-hmm.
We had a shoestraining there for their safety guys. And it's really strange. They swear me.
Yep.
The guy right after me said, shoestraining coming here, they're swearing at us? This is disrespectful. Why did they disrespect us? Even an office, huge thing about Joe Anderson was there. Would he swear at us? Swear at us? No, he wouldn't. We felt that the safety people were talking about that. Might be cool, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Swear very much.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody has to tell them, right? They'll be
Mm-hmm.
tough.
Yeah. So going to talk to some folks in the field about swearing to the safety people?
Well, no, the safety people. The people who came from corporates was talking in the lunchroom, telling stories about beware of
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's very. It is really ironic. But I was like, well, that's the same with people. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it was more than they found the picture. It was weird. It's like totally out of the blue.
Yeah, totally.
So I told the president, that's particularly one guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit embracing the whole conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, good word.
Yeah. And the corporate, from their stance, they might have been just trying to fit in, or
Just trying to fit in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel sometimes, go back to union guys, sometimes the union worker double standard, they're the toughest guys. Soon you don't say good morning to them or something. All right. It's super offensive. It's weird.
Yeah.
We got to be
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
So that'll be an actual opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good example, though. We can use that one as a framework.
Nobody's looking down.
Thank you. Okay, so on the other side, at the top it says ASA framework. We'll use that example to walk through this. This is a framework I teach people on how to start a difficult conversation. It's not a script for the entire thing, but it's really helpful this is a way to bring it out that hopefully they don't get so defensive. So the A stands for ask for their help. S stands for say the bad thing and why it's bad. And A is ask for help again. You notice we're asking more questions than we are actually saying anything. So for your example, for the first A, how might he bring that out if he's going to approach the corporate safety people?
Our local safety managers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, so if you weren't talking to them directly?
Or talking to
Yep. Yeah. So let's pretend you're in the conversation with them directly. And we're going to start, they're like, hey, what's up? There you go. I need a little help here. When you say that, how do you think they're going to respond? What's up? You ask anyone for help, the first thing they're going to do is listen. So ask we have to say the bad thing and why it's bad. So what could you say for that example?
What was that?
Yeah, say the bad thing and why it's bad.
Oh, yeah. And the safety orientation of safety course.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Good. So we had the safety course, there was some profanity, it made some people uncomfortable.
He did ask, okay, to swear, what we said. He slipped once, and nobody said anything, and
Yeah.
it was his fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. No, that's okay. So you say, hey man, can I get your help? He says, yeah, what's up? In the safety meeting, I know you prefaced, you asked if you could use profanity. Some guys were offended. And then so for the second A, ask for more help. How could we ask as our second question?
How can we make it feel? How can we make it feel?
There you go. There you go. And so if we use this framework, it makes it pretty simple. So it'd be like, hey, Mr. Safety Guy, can I get your help with something? Yeah, what's up? So in that safety meeting last week, I know that you said that you asked permission, but you were using some swear words. Some guys got offended. Can you help me fix this? Can you help me figure out what to do for next time? You've made no accusations. You haven't attacked their character. You've just presented a problem and asked for their help. Do you think this framework guarantees that they won't get defensive? No. They for sure can be like, what the crap? I asked for their permission. Right? This guy has no sympathy back there. Yeah. Yeah. And so let's say they get defensive and they're like, well, what the heck? I asked for their permission. That's when we go back to this page, the front page, and we use some of these skills. Okay. Brother, I feel you. I'm with you. I actually agree with you. John 1 and John 2 is offended, though. What should we do about it? Well, I think that's BS. Okay. I'm with you. How can I help you fix it? And really what it does is it helps them stay more focused on fixing the problem. And they might not even get defensive. They might say, oh, my bad. Thanks for letting me know. We won't do it the next time. So, who knows? How could you use this with the wife at home? The ASA framework. But the ASA just in general, what's a scenario where you could maybe use that? Need your help with something? Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Yeah.
I do it every day. It's short term.
Yeah. Then you pull out this page and you go, how does that make you feel? Just kidding.
I'm the same.
Yeah. No, I know personal relationships, of course, are a lot different. I've had a lot of guys tell me they're driving with their wife or whatever after taking a class like this, and they tried using some of it, and their wife's like, "Where did you learn that?" Or like, "What is that from your class? What? Why are you being weird?" So, yeah, totally. Yeah. So on the back of this page, there's just a few more examples of this framework, the ASA framework. It works really well. I've used it for performance issues. I've used it in sexual harassment issues. I've used it with like sexual discrimination type suits. It wasn't actually a suit, but just conversations. There's a lot of different scenarios where it works really well, and it's a combination of both sides of this page. So it's being able to slow down the conversation and just let them talk, and then bringing it out in a way that doesn't just completely make them angry. They might still get angry, but to try not to, as best as you can.
A lot of it takes another person. Somebody who's having a dispute with another person, that conversation is not. Probably that. You know what?
Totally. Can I get your help? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If there's too much contempt in that relationship, you're going to need some help. Yeah.
Mediate.
Yeah.
Then maybe go to both parties.
Yep.
A lot of times, those are the conflicts you have. Like, what? They're not going to resolve the issue. A lot of, but somebody that have a conversation with a little bit.
Yeah.
People are emotionally heated like that. Use those tactics.
Yeah. Time out. Let's talk about our feelings. Yeah, exactly. You're just going to break it up and you can talk about it later, basically. Talk about it after the fight. Yep. So I get a lot of people that reach out for me on the internet, from LinkedIn, my website. They want to ask me a question about what I do. They have a scenario. Can you guess what the most common type of thing that people are calling me about is? Such a vague question, but
Awkward conversations. Or
around awkward conversations, yeah. That.
what?
It's usually people calling about somebody above them. That's way more common than the boss calling me on how to deal with somebody below them. And so in those scenarios, I give them the same tools. This stuff works if you wanted to have a conversation up. Maybe that's similar to the one you brought up. These people aren't necessarily your direct reports, but it's somebody in corporate or, yeah, it doesn't matter. So we had a guy, apprentice working on a job site, refused to wear his hard hat, refused to wear safety glasses. The safety manager just was fighting him on it forever. So eventually our safety manager went out to the job site and it's like, and the foreman was involved too, superintendent. He was like, brother, you got to wear your stuff, basically. And he flips him the bird. Basically says, F you, I'm not wearing it. So I then get involved and I have a conversation with him. I'm like, hey, you can't flip off. That's like flipping off a cop or like a judge. Like, why would you do that? Well, anyways, I said, okay, if it happens one more time, we are going to fire you. Like, you have to wear your stuff. I know it's frustrating, but you have to wear it. And of course, this is after like a month of fighting him on it. Next day, foreman showed up to the job site. He's walking through the building, no hard hat, no vest. And like, hey, come to the office. And like, sorry, dude, you know. I was like, we're letting you go. And gets real quiet and he starts crying. And he said, my mom had a stroke this morning. Like, today's not a good day to get fired. She's in the hospital. Exactly. How do you respond to that?
Oh, it's okay. We'll wait for tomorrow.
We'll fire you tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. It's uncomfortable. I think the best thing you can do is just stand your ground. Like you said, there's no good day to get fired. Like, I'm really sorry about your mom. We told you, right? We had another scenario. It was actually really sad. We had a gal working on site that was struggling with suicidal tendencies. You guys just talked about mental health stuff. She wasn't her wearing her safety stuff, and when the foreman had talked to her about it, she's like, "I don't." She was way in a lift without her harness on, and that job required it. And she's like, "I don't care if I die." And we already knew that she was struggling, and so we actually had brought her in and like, "What can we do to help? We can't have you on the job site." That's kind of the way you're thinking. And so she's like, I need to go help. So we basically fired her. And that day she went into a center or got some help, went to a hospital, basically. I get a call the next day from a random number. Weird. Hello, this is Andy. And she's like, hi, this is so-and-so. This the girl. She's calling from her therapist's office. And she said, I'm gonna get released soon. Can I come back to work in the field? Like it was like a Wednesday and she wanted to come back Friday. How do you respond to that?
Give it a little time, talk about it, discuss it, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't be difficult. Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Like motivate you, so you don't feel like right.
Yeah.
But she's
Mm-hmm.
but her attitude about
Mm-hmm.
Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Timeline might take us to we don't know what project.
Mm-hmm.
Her
Yep.
but keep progressing with her. Hard to say no. Yeah. Also, like, realistically, you guys. It's music.
Yeah, and that's what we did. We said, "What does your doctor think?" and kind of went that route. And unfortunately, she ended up coming back because she ended up being in. She had got help for like many months, basically, is what turned out. So, the end of the story is a happy story. But these conversations are difficult, and I know a lot of these you guys may not deal with those specific scenarios, but it can be awkward, it can be uncomfortable. But the reason it's uncomfortable and the reason it's hard is because you haven't like developed the skill. It's no different than going to get in your truck when you leave here. You're not going to think twice about it, probably. You're just going to go do it, and it's because you have a lot of practice doing it. Same with these things on this piece of paper. So, do you guys have any scenarios? That's pretty much all I got for you guys today, unless you guys have scenarios that you want to work through or talk about or use as an example. Yeah.
You get a lot of. I want to move up the company. Those kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that comes up actually really frequently. Stuff I have to say.
Even though you know it's you.
Yeah. What? I guess I'm curious what your guys' thoughts is before I jump into his question. Somebody's trying to self-advocate for themselves. What's the best way to go about it?
Because I don't well, it's more like Just be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything should just be based on.
Mhm.
But I don't know, maybe you need to have your own personal goals. And then you go to set it where
Yeah.
say, ask questions, you're like, what's holding it back? What do I need to do? Yes.
Mhm.
The answer like, oh, I can do all these
Mhm.
things. Yeah. Sometimes it is.
Yep. Yeah, I think there's the few things that come to mind. I like what you shared too. One, don't demand it. That's going to be like the worst thing you can do. To just come across and be like, you have to give me this or this is or else. It's never going to work. Two, if the company doesn't see your value, I'd really encourage you to look in the mirror to say like, are you actually bringing the value that you think you are? Not to like see doubt, but like just to like objectively try to see it. Like, is there a reason that they're not promoting me? And the third thing is what's one of the most powerful things you can do in a negotiation?
Rub the leader's ego.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That was good. The willingness to walk away, right?
Yep.
If you're selling a car, if you like don't care, if you don't like, yeah.
Line. Yep.
Yep.
Line.
Yep. But they don't demand. Really try to see yourself objectively and try to understand why you're not getting the promotion. And if you're willing to walk away, the thing is, most people I talk to, they're not willing to walk away. It's too scary, and that's okay. But what's that?
Most of the cars in the box.
Where you don't really care, yeah, yeah. Like, hey, actually, I will take 10 grand for it. Yeah, yeah. I like that. Yeah, it comes up a lot. I think employees often have a high expectation for leaders. Like, I want my company to have like a perfect development plan for me. I want my leaders to have a perfect promotion plan, payment plan, growth. Like, all that stuff is nice, but it's really difficult to do as a company. And so if you're just going to sit here and be like, well, I want it, well, make it yourself then. Or go to a company that has it.
Two years.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's other people that well.
Yeah.
Good job.
I got a free fishing trip though. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of course, this is gonna be bias coming from me because this is what I teach. But what I see is what holds a lot of people back are like soft skills. People are dang good at their job, but what's holding them back is they won't have hard conversations. They're not willing to do the hard things of like leadership. And so a lot of times that can hold people back too. So
I think you got.
that's a good point.
So
Mm-hmm.
like, for people, I was trying to do that. Now more than ever, but like, we got people that got restricted. I get her literally. But so when you got people, these are your part. Then when you're
Yep.
show them how they can. I don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't until look over and advocate for me,
Mm-hmm.
look out, reach out to people, to talk to.
That's cool.
Which they love, right? Conversation with that figure.
Yeah.
and then you have that person and yourself figure something out.
Mhm.
Like, and then,
Yep.
so,
Having free conversations, maybe avoid a lot of like, difficult conversations that will. It just makes it easier for them to express themselves.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, one of my hot takes, so take this for what it's worth, but I work with a lot of people one-on-one. I think one of the things that holds people back the most is thinking like a victim. Yes, sir. We'll see you. Thank you. I think we all can be victim to things. In fact, I think we are a lot of times to things, but we don't have to react like a victim. And so where I see people get stuck in their careers is they don't take complete ownership of their life and their career. And so then they sit there upset at their company as that they're stuck. And it's like, I promise you can change. You just have to make a difficult choice or learn a difficult skill or something. And sometimes a lot of times I work with people in 8 sessions, one-on-one. Sometimes we spend the whole 8 sessions just trying to get through that one hurdle because all they want to do is blame somebody else. And they were trained to think that way. So I can't even blame them really. So. That's all I got. Yeah.
But hey, I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah.
All this. Well, work like time. You use some of the tools sometimes.
Yeah.
Or one, most of us don't have very good concept. Or prepared you are to do it. Some of the boring engaged. Didn't practice perfect. Not everything perfect. Not long.
I think, a lot of our roles, PMs, PEs, superintendents, soft skills. I always say,
Yeah.
you do all spreadsheets, the billings, the monthly status reports and all that stuff. But maybe have a conversation with the architect, have a conversation with the engineer, have a conversation with the subcontractor, and then almost reflect this.
Mm-hmm.
And be able to put different hats on, figure out what we do without even thinking about it every day.
Yeah.
Honoring or too difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a project manager, all I was really doing is coordinating between people. I was managing people, whether it was the subs, the vendors, our team, outside team, my internal team, like everybody. You're this middleman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you pay the guy to do the job. Literally talking. You have to use the soft skills in order to get.
Yeah.
And just, work, at least work back movement. Only.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe if the market slows down, we can start yelling again, but
Well, like,
every once in a while. Yeah. Yeah.